So Jeff Keast, candidate for Bourbonnais mayor, part of the Bourbonnais Citizens Party, is joining me this morning. Good morning, Jeff. How you doing?
Good morning. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah. This is third time in the past few weeks, right?
Yes, sir. I'm getting pretty comfortable in this chair.
All right. Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully it is comfortable. So, so I'm going to just move the mic just a little bit closer. All right. Here we go. So yeah, just simple, asking some questions about your campaign, since people will be heading to the polls come April 1st, and those in Bourbonnais will be voting for mayor. You're one of the candidates. So, you won the primary. You beat the incumbent, Mayor Paul Shore.
Correct.
So now you're facing another opponent from the People's Choice Party. So how do you differentiate your leadership style and priorities from his?
Good question. Basically, I've been on the board for 10 years.
Okay.
I know the things that need to change. I think that we need to aggressively look at growing the interchange. I have a plan to do that. I know how we're going to attack that. I started this in 2013. I mean, the first time I ran for mayor was 2013. So I have been vision planning all of the things that I want to accomplish in this since 2013. I also have had the opportunity and the pleasure of being a trustee to see how those things operate. I understand where the money comes from, where the money goes, the things that we can change, the things that we can't change. I've also had the pleasure of working with great trustees. I mean, we've got a great team of trustees that has a whole bunch of different experiences to get from point A to point B. I know the things that need to change in the administration. I know the things that need to change at the police department. I know the issues with the public works department. I also know how to engage residents. I've been doing it, very well, I believe, for the last 10 years. Can we do better? Absolutely we can. But my leadership style is getting involved in everything that I can, but trying to stay out of the way so I'm not micromanaging the professionals that are doing their job as well. Okay.
So your opponent has made some allegations in regards to Aqua, Illinois, and the village. Could you maybe explain what some of it and clear this up?
So that process started a long time ago. We started talking about that, I think, in like 2019, when we would raise rates, and residents would come and be upset because we're raising rates. But from the same standpoint, we had a flat rate system back then. I guess I'm going to get technical here, but someone who is a single family homeowner was overpaying because their bill was based off of an average of all of the residents in the village. A family of 4 or 5 or more even was underpaying because the rate was lower for them. Because we weren't raising those rates, we had a lot of infrastructure issues that needed to be addressed. And there was so much pushback from the residents to do that it was hard to do those things. And we were also not really well equipped to do those things. We would have to hire those things out anyway. And the way that the village normally does those things is we go after big chunks. We don't do little bitty pieces because from a liability standpoint, if we fix one area and we have a complete failure in another area, it puts too much pressure on the system to try and get all those fixed in a quick, timely fashion.
Okay.
So we started that process, I think, in 2019. I know that in 2020, we sent out letters to residents. We had multiple meetings with residents, open house. We did all of those things to bring residents together, telling them, hey, we got a bad situation going on here. We're going to have to make a decision on your behalf, and we want your input. We got some input, but you're not getting any of the pushback that we're getting now, of course. But either way, it wasn't a great situation, and we had to make a tough decision. But that's also what we're elected to do, is to make those tough decisions for the residents, because there's a lot of information that's out there, and we have to make our decision based off all that information. So.
Okay. Your opponent is also saying that he wants to shake up what he calls a stagnant administration. How do you counter that narrative?
I just did that.
Okay.
I did that by beating the incumbent mayor. I look at things differently than Mayor Shore does. There are things that he did well, and there's things that I don't think he did, as well as could be. It's been abundantly clear that we need to communicate better with the residents. I think that we've done a good job of that, but I think that there's a lot of things that we can do to better engage our residents and keep them informed. Sometimes we engage residents and we don't get response. The Grove is a perfect example of amazing response. We had over 3,000 individual respondents that talked about the things that they wanted there. From a communication standpoint, we did an amazing job. It was, we got our message out, people responded, told us what they wanted, I should say, and we built it for them.
Okay. You brought up economic development just recently, the interchange. I know that's been kind of a key issue for you. You've criticized the lack of progress there.
Of course.
So what would be your strategy to attract new businesses and to create some living wage jobs? So
talking about community involvement, I want us to have an open house like we did for the Grove and have residents bring their suggestions, what types of businesses they want to see there. I want to have the exact same process we did with the Grove, have them give us suggestions, and we'll see how those pieces could fit at the interchange. And then will go to that business and try and bring them here to talk to the developers who are, of course, I work in the construction industry, so the developers that own the property up at the interchange are people that I talk to on a daily basis because of other projects. I want to bring them together with the real estate people that are there and, the end user that wants to build their business there, and put them all together and make something happen. So.
Okay. You just brought up, which is great, my next question, your career. You're an electrician.
Absolutely.
Owner of Keast Electric. So it's bringing a unique perspective to the table. How do you think your business, your hands-on business experience is going to influence your approach to managing the village?
I reach out, and I guess I'll give you an example. The Aldi in Bradley, we were not the low bidder. The company that came in was actually from up north. They didn't really want to take this project. They only took this because it was a deal by doing an Aldi that was close to them, and they had to take them both. So I'm the guy that actually makes that phone call and says, hey, I understand you were the low bidder. Is there any way we can work out a deal where we work for you in this process? We did that. They were extremely happy that they didn't have to do that, and quite frankly, myself and all my electricians were happy because they were working close to home. I'm aggressive when it comes to going after the things that I want. I'm running for mayor. I mean, I think that an aggressive approach is going to bring those businesses to the interchange, and an aggressive approach is going to give our residents what they've been asking for. So,
all right. Jeff Keast, he's a candidate for Bourbonnais mayor, is joining me this morning. So you also mentioned a little bit earlier on, you've been a trustee for several years. Are there any specific lessons that you've learned as a trustee that's going to help you in your role as mayor?
Oh, I've learned a lot. I mean, I guess the thing that I've learned the most that I didn't know when I sat on the outside was the things that we can do and the things that we can't do. All of our authority comes from the state of Illinois. We're not like other organizations, the federal government and so forth, that can unilaterally do whatever they want to do. All of the rules that are put in place are put in by the state, and we have to work within those parameters to get things done. I've also had the opportunity to work with amazing trustees that have become my friends over the 10 years that we've been together. And we all have different perspectives, so we bounce ideas off of each other. We all look at things from a different perspective and come at problems at different angles. And by coming at them from different angles, we look at all the possibilities and look at sometimes much better solutions than what originally came to the table. So,
all right. The rumors have swirled about the vacant Cigna building potentially becoming a housing project tied to the Goshen Battery plant in Manteno. And residents raised this at a village board meeting. The village addressed it, but it still seems to be a hot topic. As mayor, how would you address residents' concerns?
It is a concern. I completely understand how they feel. I also know that I will never be in favor of turning that to a residential project. They would have to go through zoning. I will make sure that if that ever comes up, I will do anything that I can do as mayor to stop that. I don't think that's what that building should be used for. And part of my plan is to go get several tenants, because that is such a big building, to have. There are a few single one users that could go there, and looking at those different users, I know that a data center going back in there could be a good idea. That's in our hospital corridor, going into that. I know that the schools had looked at it to possibly do something there. I think that would be an amazing, any one of those would be an amazing addition to the village of Bourbonnais. But if we can't put one user in there to take the whole building, we'll have to work with the owner and try and get that developed to be multiple different commercial, properties. It's got great parking. It's right by the interchange. There's a lot of things it has going for it, except right now it's an empty building, and we'll address that. We'll be working very hard as our team to get that occupied.
Okay. So Kankakee County, there's a lot of good things happening here, a lot of positive things, but it's also, it's not a mystery that it's known that also faces challenges like the economy, economic recovery, and
we are in Illinois,
Yeah, and regional cooperation. Yeah. So, how do you see the village of Bourbonnais fitting into that bigger picture? And does what role will you play as mayor in collaborating with neighboring communities?
Oh, there will be a lot of communication. Some of the things that Kankakee is doing, and some of the things that Bradley's doing, the things that Manteno is doing, are all going to benefit the village of Bourbonnais. There are going to be things that the Grove. I mean, the Grove benefits the whole community. And there are other plans to bring, hotels and different commercial properties and even industrial users to the village of Bourbonnais so that we can help back and forth. There's no hard line between the village of Bourbonnais and the village of Bradley. I just don't like the fact that the village of Bradley tries to influence what we do in the village of Bourbonnais. We should work together and collaborate and not try and push our agenda onto another municipality.
Okay. Ed, I want to circle back. You just brought up the Grove, and you talked about the Grove and how you got respondents from people in regards to what they would like to see. And so, because I've seen some stuff that people are, some people have mentioned that no one in Bourbonnais wanted the Grove. You're saying that's not true.
That's not true. And the interesting thing of that is there are people that were against the Grove. And I can think of many names that I'm not going to drop on the radio. But there were many people that in the beginning said, "Oh, this is a bad idea." Now they're like, "Wow, we didn't see what was coming." And 2 days ago, we had over 100 people at the Grove playing and doing things, and all of the amenities aren't even open yet. It's too early. So with the weather, more and more people are using the Grove, hanging out at the Grove. I think it will be great to have the Bosque area open and have our concession area open during those times. But there's logistics that we're going to have to work through. But it is an amazing asset to the village of Bourbonnais and to the community. And there are residents that are upset, but again, we did that with business district funds, so nobody's property taxes went up. People that are spending money in the village, residents of Bradley that are coming over, residents of Kankakee, or residents from New Lenox or Frankfort and Mokina that are coming to our village that are spending money here, pay for that. So you don't have to. It's not anything that's hurt anybody financially, and I think that it is attracting a lot of people to the village of Bourbonnais.
All right, Jeff Keast, anything else you'd like to add this morning?
Well, you have a choice. You have a choice of voting on April 1st. Only in Illinois can you have an election on April Fool's Day. But you have a choice of voting for change, but not for complete upheaval. I mean, they voted in a primary to have change. I don't think the residents want such a learning curve that the whole village dynamic is going to change, and defunding of things and moving monies away from things. We have a great team, and between myself and the trustees that are running and the trustees that are currently there. Angie Serafini has 2 master's degrees, one in business administration, one in organizational leadership. Rick Fisher, who owned an insurance company and did investments. Bruce Greenlee, who had a supply company for a long, long time, was the owner and founder of his own supply company. Brian Seymour was the head of accounting at CSL Behring. I mean, and then of course you've got Randy King, who's not up for election this time, but Randy owns King Music, and Jack Luttrell does investments as well. We have a lot of great people that have great perspectives and insights on the board. And to keep that and move that forward with my vision of the growth of the village, I just don't know how you could not want that. So,
all right. And people can find out more information about you or the Bourbonnais Citizens Party how?
Well, we have 2 different Facebook pages. We have the Bourbonnais Citizens Party Facebook page, and we also have Mayor Jeff Keast Facebook page. I also have a Mayor Jeff Keast website, and if I haven't knocked on your door yet, I will probably be talking to you shortly that way as well. So I'm also available. I do it on social media all the time, so there's no difference between me putting it out on the radio. My cell phone number is 815-592-7893. That is my personal cell phone number. People call me all the time. I have no problem in answering questions, being one-on-one, face-to-face, or 50 people talking to them. I truly love the village of Bourbonnais, and I think that the team that we have and the direction that we want to go is going to be amazing for the village. Keep taxes down and bring a lot more benefits to the village. So,
all right. Well, Jeff Keast, thanks for joining me this morning. Appreciate it. And he is the Bourbonnais Citizens Party candidate for Bourbonnais mayor. And you have a good day.
Thank you. I truly appreciate it. It's a pleasure again.
Yeah.